Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Breakdown. Today we're looking at the MS-07B-3 Gouf Custom, piloted by Norris Packard. This is a suit I have been waiting the entirety of the Super Breakdown to be able to cover. This is one of my favorite melee suits in the game, has some of my favorite mobility in the game. If you've been watching the Super Breakdown and you know how I feel about mobile suits at this point and the way they play in this game, you will know that this is one of my absolute favorite suits ever. The way that it works, very cool mobility, is that you can use the lines to zip around or to attack with. If you connect with the attack version, then you are able to get a stun, which is very nice, just dedicated stun. Kind of hard to hit with sometimes, but if you line it up well, you can get some good hits with it. And then, of course, the stun also pulls you to the enemy. It has some of the best melee in the game. That was back melee right there. But we will, of course, go through it all. I'm just excited, so forgive me for how excited that I am, because I love this suit. That was forward melee, by the way. So you have the basic shot. It uses the chain gun. When you run out of shots in the chain gun, it's gone. You get just the shots that it starts with. You get no reload. That's all you get. And then it will be gone forever. And you get replaced with the small Gatlings on the hands, the hand Gatlings, which are fine. They do reload. You don't have to worry, you can spam them. The Gatling is a really good way to get some good damage in, especially with the tracking on it. But don't be too afraid to use it, because as good as it is, it's not the thing that really should be your goal. Saving it for a bad situation is not going to make a big difference. You have right trigger, which is the upward pull, which can be paired really well with left trigger. You can also use left trigger if you're close to an object. You can pull yourself to it. But in open maps, that can be kind of difficult. Whereas if you're in the air already, for whatever reason, then left trigger will pull you to the ground nearby you in the direction that you directed in, which is very nice. So you can pair this really well to be able to get in close and do some good damage. And then, of course, left bumper is the stun, pulls you to your opponent. Basic melee right there. Very nice. Very nice. We have the burst, which is one of the best-looking melee bursts in the game, in my opinion. It's just so visceral. Norris Packard turns you into a gun tank and just destroys you. Then you have back melee, which we mentioned earlier, which is very interesting in that it has an ammo count. I messed it up there, but we'll show it when it reloads. You grab a piece of rubble of the connecting bridge and you throw it at your opponent, and if it hits, it can stagger, and it does really nice damage as well. You also, with Norris Packard's Gouf Custom, have the fun of changing combos depending on what string you're doing, so you can get an entirely different set of combos with your melee, and that's a good way to capitalize on the back melee as well, is mid-combo, just like this, mid-combo, sidestep, back melee, to be able to hit them with it. It does quite a bit of damage if you can connect with it. It's very potent. Then finally, you have side melee, which is very nice. And back melee, when you don't have the piece of rubble, is a pop-up, which is very nice. So there are still some options, even if you don't have it up, to be able to use. But forward melee is that spin. I'm sorry, not back melee. Forward melee is the spin, whether you have the rubble or not. I'm excited. I'm tripping over myself, and I'm stating incorrect information. So let me clarify. Once you have used the rubble, you do not have any more back melee until it has reloaded. As we go into the second round, we of course ask the question, should you use Norris Packard's Gouf Custom? And the answer is absolutely, of course. At a 300 cost, it will not run you that much. In a team, to be able to have it on your team, the movement is great. The melee is great. The only thing that really it struggles with is long range, because once you're done with the Gatling, which even then is only really good for mid-range. It doesn't have any green lock option at all. The hand Gatling has even less range on it, but the amount of damage that you do with everything else, the ability to get in pretty quickly and do a bunch of damage, I think it pays for itself, honestly. It does have some problems for sure. The long range is a thing to consider. Low ammo count on all weapons. The lines, even if you're good with moving with them, you only get 3 until you land again. And it can be interesting when you play against people that are used to playing against the Gouf Custom. They can predict where the lines are going to go. So it can be very difficult to get away sometimes because they know what you're doing if they have fought a Gouf Custom too many times. Again, the stun can be kind of hard to land, and once you hit it, you better be ready to go in, because you're going in. But as you can see there, it more than pays for itself, in my opinion, with what it lets you do. The melee combos all look cool. There's so many different versions of them. It's just such a great suit, and it's one that honestly I wish I'd been playing around with more. Oh, it's so good. It's just super satisfying to connect with these melee attacks. And again, the fact that its kit is not designed around like mid-range, it's designed around letting you connect with melee, getting you in there where you can hit them with these attacks, where you're always able to be around your opponent so that you can connect with your melees. And then still having some decent short range, you know, it's not bad at all. The last thing we haven't shown yet is the Striker. Striker is just a pop-up. Not bad at all, but it hits twice. And that can be life or death if somebody's low enough. But with all that said, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the Full Spectrum that the Gouf Custom has to offer.